everyone. Today we're going to make a reaction to Geography Now, Democratic Republic of Congo. The Democratic Republic of Congo. Originally description, I'll start the video and we'll be learning about the second largest African country after Algeria.
Hey, geography.
Alright then.
Okay, let's take a poll. Who
Alright
here
then.
is old enough to remember when this country was named
Alright then.
Zaire?
Zaire.
Yeah? Alright, 90s kids.
Alright then.
Yeah! I feel so old.
Alright then. Let's learn about this country.
Everybody, we've reached
Democratic
our first set of
Republic.
twin countries, the Congos, and
The
you're in for a real
Congos.
treat because these two
Alright
African
then.
states may seem very similar, but there's a strange
Alright
story
then.
that kind of sets them apart. But first,
Okay, the thumbnail will be the flag, of course.
the flag is a sky blue field with a yellow star in the
then.
left hoist side and cut diagonally by a red stripe
then.
with a thin yellow frame. The star symbolizes the radiant
then.
future of the country, the blue
Right
represents
then.
peace, the yellow frame for the
Right.
wealth, and the red stands for...
Okay,
I'm just gonna say, it's interesting that they claim a radiant future with peace and wealth because, yeah, let's just...
Alright then, let's see how this will go.
Now, whether
Alright
you're
then.
reading some Michael Crichton or some Tintin comics, the Congo
Alright
has
then.
been romanticized and embellished in the pages
then.
of classical literature for centuries. Whenever
Alright
you hear
then.
somebody referring to the Congo,
Okay.
they're most likely referring to the DRC. Even when you type in Congo on Google Maps and Google Earth, it just defaults to the DRC.
Don't I get a say in this?
No, you don't. The DRC is a
Alright
large
then.
country located in the Central African area, bordered by
Alright
9 other
then.
countries, and is the second largest country in Africa after Algeria, and the largest in sub-Saharan Africa.
then.
The country has 10 provinces, and the city
then.
province of Kinshasa, even though the constitution
Kinshasa.
mandates that there are like 26 provinces,
Alright
but they
then.
haven't really gotten around to that. Capital
Alright
Kinshasa is right across the mighty Congo River from
Alright then.
Brazzaville, the capital of the Republic of Congo,
Alright then.
making the two cities the world's closest capitals. Kinshasa is a huge city with
Alright
millions
then.
of people and a weird 25-foot tall statue of the former leader Kabila that was
Okay.
constructed by North Koreans and has a suspiciously
Yeah.
Kim Jong-il type of body. Side note, North
Yeah.
Korea has a weird
Excuse me.
industry of manufacturing and
Alright
exporting
then.
dictator statues. Unfortunately, there are no bridges
Alright
that
then.
connect the two cities, so in order
North
to
Korea
cross, you
episode will
either
be
have
in
to take a
September.
ferry, which can be incredibly crowded and
Yeah.
sketchy. Some tourists that visit Brazzaville go so far as to charter flights that go to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and then to Kinshasa to avoid the hassle, even though the distance is literally less than 7 kilometers or 4 miles apart. When you look at the DRC's borders, you'll notice that the further west you go, the land kind of funnels into this incredibly narrow panhandle known as the Bakongo province. This area just barely touches the Atlantic Ocean with a 32-kilometer wide coast and the town of Muanda that extends all the way to the seaport of Banana. That's right, they named the seaport Banana. However, don't let Banana fool you. Most cargo ships and freight vessels do not stop over here, and in order to receive bulk shipments, all cargo must travel
This is
up
another
the
African
Congo River to
country.
the ports
Alright
on
then.
either Boma or Mitadi. Mitadi being the bigger one since they have a direct train line and highway that goes straight to Kinshasa. These two small ports are the main lifeline of the DRC's international trade sector. Speaking of which, only about 2% of the roads are paved, and due to the terrain of the Congo Basin, building roads and railways has always been a little difficult. Water transport has always been the dominant means of moving around, as nearly 2/3 of the entire country is navigable by rivers and creeks. In the south of the Katanga province, you have the Congo Pedicle, or the Katanga Boot, another narrow corridor that protrudes into Zambia, almost cutting it in half. The reason why this happened all had to do with the Belgian King Leopold II and the Berlin Conference. Basically, he claimed the borders to ride along the Luapula River and the watershed between the Zambezi and Congo
Which
to
was
be the
under
southernmost
Belgium.
borders of the country. But the whole thing was still a little hazy and unclear, so he invited the King of Italy to draw a straight line and then end it, which the Africans had absolutely no consultation. In fact, the reason why the country's domain is so big is mostly because King Leopold somehow ended up convincing the summit to allot him the entire area, widely unexplored, and in return making it a free state with open trade policies and no direct sovereign allegiance, but rather as his own personally controlled state. Basically, the entire country became
Well,
his
the
own
episode of
twisted,
Senegal,
messed up
I might do it in
African playground. And that's where things
2027.
got really
First, I need
messy.
to find the
We'll talk
picture
about
of the
in
fun
demographics, but first, we have to discuss
learn about physical
Now, the one
geography.
thing you have to understand is that the DRC is one
And
of,
after
if not
that,
probably the
we'll
world's
learn
most
about
resource-rich yet
demographics,
economically
and then the
untapped
friend
and
zone,
mismanaged country
and the
in
episode
world.
is
The
over.
country has everything, and yet so much is not being done. First of all, the country is generally divided into 5 physical regions: the Western region, the Congo Basin, the Kivu region, the Kasai, and the Katanga. The Western region is lush with deep vegetation and croplands. Most Congolese are subsistence farmers that survive off of what they can grow in the soil.
As I was about to say,
is huge out here too.
I
Fish is the
decide.
most popular source of
I'm
protein for the
probably
average
not
person in this area, since the Congo River provides a variety of tropical species that are cooked in dishes like one of
for
the most favorite
reactions,
dishes in the
but
area, makobe,
there will
which
be
is
4
wrapped in
reactions
cassava
today,
or
but
banana
I'm
leaf
adding
and
the
roasted in
Shrek White
spices.
TP
Oh
as
no,
a
I think I may have
special,
incited something.
not a fifth
I
video,
think I'm gonna
just
go
a
out for some
special
Thai
video.
for lunch.
Thai? Oh,
Alright
it's
then.
so 2009 basic.
Alright then.
I prefer this Fufu and Maboke place. You probably never heard of it.
Hmm.
It's around this tool shed behind
Alright
an
then.
alley. You have to climb through the dumpster to get into
Alright
the
then.
restaurant.
The Congo Basin is where
Alright
you will
then.
find the world's second largest rainforest
Alright
after
then.
the Amazon, the Congo rainforest. This
Alright
place
then.
is loaded and heavily packed with incredibly
then.
large amounts of plants and wildlife, including some of the
Okay.
rarest primates on Earth like bonobos and the lowland gorillas. Many species are
Bonobos.
endemic to the area like the
Okay.
curiously looking okapi. This is also the
Okapi.
area that has the
Alright
largest
then.
amount of rain in the entire country with an average of over 120 centimeters, and the DRC is also known for having the highest frequency of
Okay.
thunderstorms out of any other country on the planet. The Kivu region is known as the lake and volcano region as it sits on many of the major lakes like Lake Kivu and Tanganyika, and two of the most active volcanoes in Africa, Mount Nyiragongo and Mount Nyamuragira, which make up about 40% of all documented African volcanic activity alone. Mount Nyiragongo alone has the world's largest lava lake nestled inside of the crater. Yeah, that is not a lake you want to jump in. It's also home to the tallest mountain in the country, Mount Stanley, that straddles the border with Uganda, and the third highest peak in Africa after Kilimanjaro and Kenya. Then we reach the Kasai and Katanga regions. These areas are slightly drier yet still humid and lush with plants and rivers. However, they are most widely known for being the mining and mineral extracting regions of the country. Kasai known for their diamonds and Katanga known for their metals. Now let me just illustrate how much potential is found in the DRC. It's estimated that the entire country holds about $25 trillion worth of untapped minerals and ores. That's about the same amount as the GDP of the US and Europe combined. No joke. The DRC has the world's largest deposit of coltan, or a natural ore of niobium and tantalum, and over 60% of the entire world's cobalt stock. The country is very slow and cautious on how it goes about extracting these resources. In the past, there have been huge problems with both domestic and international looting from agents on both sides. To this day,
As
the
I
industry,
was
although
about to
still booming,
say
is
that
relatively underdeveloped
I'm also
compared to what
working
it
on
could
the
be.
other
In a weird counteractive way, though,
videos,
it also is kind of good because it kind of preserves the forest and wildlife, which is already threatened enough as it is. Overall, if you look at the satellite images of the country, you can tell that there's a ton of green. The country may have over 70 million people, but overall, there's still a lot of land that hasn't even been
as I was
exploited or
about to
destroyed yet.
say,
It isn't necessarily because the people are very
the
environmentally
fact
conscious, though. It kind of has to do
that
with
my Wi-Fi is so
administration,
slow,
or lack
and that's
thereof.
why
Let's
I
explain.
have to delay coming videos.
Alright, fun little quick side
And
note.
once
People
it gets
typically
fixed,
distinguish
I
if
can
they are from the
post
DRC or the RC by
just
using the
couple of
capitals
4
in the
reactions.
titles.
I don't
By
have
saying
enough.
they're either from Kingo Kinshasa for
And
the
then,
DRC and Congo Brazza for the RC.
then.
Now you know. So in general, the
Alright
DRC is a
then.
huge country with lots of different types of people groups. Let's
Alright
just
then.
jump into it. The country has about
Alright
80
then.
million people and is the fourth most populous country in Africa
Alright
and
then.
one of the fastest growing. Now when it comes to
Okay.
ethnic distinction, the line is a little hazy because there are over 250 tribes and people
Alright
groups.
then.
However, in general, about 80% of the country is made up of Bantu peoples.
Bantu.
These all classify under the Bantu parent group, and the largest ones being the Mongo, the
Mongo,
Luba, the
Luba.
Mangbetu Azande, and the Bakongo. The rest are non-Bantu
Bakongo.
groups like the Gilima, Mono, Adamawa, and so on. There's also a small percentage of pygmies that make up about 1% of the population, and barely 1% are whites, mostly Belgian and French Europeans. With all these people groups and dialects, you would think that communication would be difficult. However, fortunately, almost everybody in the country speaks French as an intercessory language, making the DRC the largest francophone nation in the world, even more than France itself. Yes, I know the Belgians took over, and yes, they did try to initially institute both Dutch and French as national languages, but it was a lost cause and French just kind of took over. Why won't anybody learn Dutch? Because every time we try to speak Dutch to you, you respond back in English. In addition, the DRC has 4 other official languages: Lingala, Swahili, Chiluba, and Kikongo. These languages are spoken in distinct regions. Lingala, the most commonly spoken language, can be found in the capital, Kinshasa, as well as pretty much all of the areas that flow along the Congo River to the north and northeast. Kikongo is spoken in the west all the way through the panhandle that goes to the coast. Chiluba is spoken mostly in the middle regions of the country, and Swahili is spoken all along the east and southeast parts of the country. In terms of statistics, the DRC is pretty underdeveloped and economically disadvantaged. Typically, the country ranks within the bottom 10 countries with the lowest GDP index scores. Only a little over 10% of the country even has access to electricity and running water. On top of that, the country is scattered with thousands of small tribal villages not even documented or even charted on maps. See how many you can find on Google Earth. Make it into a game.
Yes, 3 degrees latitude, 24 degrees longitude.
Also, due to the fact that the DRC was a huge provider of slaves that were dispersed
Excuse
around
me,
the world,
let's not get in through the. That's dark.
that many modern dances and music
Right there.
styles across the world can be stemmed from this very region, since the slaves incorporated their traditional styles while performing. Calypso, jazz, reggae, rumba, merengue, and so many more all have roots possibly from Africa. Many speculate from the Congo area as well. Now we have to get a little controversial. Now, I'm not going to give you the whole story. I'll let John Green do that in this video right here. He does a great job. By the way, John, if you're ever free, let's hang out sometime. Waffles are on me. In a nutshell, things got pretty messed up, and the exact numbers are hard to calculate, but it's speculated that during the reign of terror of King Leopold, about half of the entire country's population of 20 million
long time
were killed.
ago.
Furthermore,
And
almost immediately after independence, things got messed up again, and regimes fought, and Mobutu took over and renamed the country Zaire. Then when he died, more craziness ensued, and the Congo Wars erupted, sometimes referred to as the African World War, sucking in every neighbor nation around them, and nearly 5.5 million people died, making it the most deadly conflict after World War II. Wow, really? My textbook doesn't say anything about that. That's because your school, like many others in the Western world, does not care about Africa, and it should! On top of that, internal conflict was bad enough. Both the Kasai and Katanga areas had a short secessionist movement.
That was loud.
For years, Katanga even became a breakaway state back in the 60s. Then another group attempted in 2013 called Mai Mai Bakata Takaka. Seriously, it would have been better if you guys just named yourselves Sanvair Puitkinga Kokera Kundrobo Santa Silvio Go Go Go. But no, you had to go with Bakata. Putting all this into perspective, you can probably see why the DRC hosts the world's largest UN peacekeeping missions. Speaking of diplomacy.
Okay. Let's learn about the friend zone.
Now, you might think that the DRC's relations are pretty complex, but if you look at the big picture, it all kind of makes sense. First of all, it's no surprise, but the DRC does get along with pretty much most Francophone countries. Even though the Belgians did leave a sour taste, they did kind of help unite the DRC with half of the entire continent through linguistic coherence. When it comes to Rwanda, it all kind of went down like this. Oh, come here, Rwanda. I'll totally help you out with the crisis. Rwanda essentially used the eastern side of the DRC for refugee camps during the Rwandan genocide, also as a militia base for insurgent
if I did
forces that would
Rwanda, it
eventually
would be the
invade
last country that
When it
started
comes to
an R.
Belgium, it's a little weird because, yes, they generally don't favor them, but they still have privileged relationship statuses with them as well, with embassies in each country and regular flights between Kinshasa and Brussels. Of course, because of all the minerals, major world powers have been jumping on the Congo for decades. China, Russia, and the US have all given their shot at coaxing the Congolese for investment opportunities. Cameroon and Gabon are good friends to the west, and Kenya and Africa's favorite uncle Tanzania are good friends to the east. But when it comes to their best friends, they would probably have to go back to their twin and say the Republic of Congo. The two Congos are really the best friends and identify with each other closer than any other country in the world. There is a reason why they never decided to become one single Congo country, though, and that will be discussed in the next episode. In conclusion, the Congolese will tell you that the DRC is both the richest yet poorest country on the earth. There's so much potential, but until things get straightened out, we'll just have to see what happens. Stay tuned. The Republic of Congo is coming up next.